Tonight, our look at New Hampshire. Former Massachusetts Senator Scott Brown is the leading Republican, and political experts here say it's almost certain he'll cruise past a primary September 9th to take on the Democratic incumbent. Jeanne Shaheen is leading Brown right now by 10.5 points in the Real Clear Politics average of polls. Brown insists once New Hampshire Republicans unite, the race will be tight. Former Senator Scott Brown has done come-from-behind grassroots campaigning successfully before. This time he's using his same truck, but this time it's in New Hampshire. And this time he's facing an incumbent senator and former governor of the state with a family name long tied to New Hampshire politics, Jeanne Shaheen. Senator Shaheen would not talk to us, despite repeated requests and attempts. So we sat down with Brown and have attempted to find times Senator Shaheen has addressed the same issues publicly.
It's the number one issue. Not only that, but the business mandate coming in after the election. You're finding with businesses and individuals that their rates have gone up, their coverages have gone down, their lines have gone longer, and their ability to get to their doctors or hospitals, the time to get there has gone longer. I can tell you countless families and businesses who are dramatically hurt by this, by Obamacare. So it's a real problem.
In New Hampshire specifically, is it more of an issue?
We only have one insurance carrier. When she was a governor, she actually changed the law, went from about 26 down to 1. So there's no competition. Competition's an issue. And then also 10 of the 26 hospitals are actually outside the network. So yeah, it's a huge issue. People are very, very upset about it. And they want the ability to hold those responsible accountable.
Healthcare costs are beginning to level off, and we're seeing insurance plan rates being released today that are going to show a real decline in rates for people across this country. So this is an economic issue. It's about the future well-being of our families and the future well-being of our country, and we are not going to let anybody defund the Health Care Act.
Ron Pollock with the liberal group Families USA is an Obamacare and Jeanne Shaheen supporter.
I don't think she'll run away from it. And her opponent, Scott Brown, has got some real difficulties of his own. He's got a very clean mind. He's been changing it a number of times. He supported the predecessor to the Affordable Care Act, Omnicare in Massachusetts, which is the model for the Affordable Care Act.
And even though there's angst in New Hampshire, you don't think Jeanne Shaheen's going to have trouble?
Whether you like it or don't like it, a clear majority do not want to see this repealed. They want to see it either continued or fixed in some specific ways.
Would you have liked to see the president gone to the border to get an update and sort of firsthand on the ground, see what's going on?
You know, Jack, I'm not going to weigh into that. That's a partisan political debate that's happening right now. But I think what's important is that we have a humanitarian crisis on the border with children and families who are fleeing violence in primarily 3 Central American countries.
Right.
And it's Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. And that's based on activity that's happening down there, gang activity, drug activity. So we have an immediate problem in trying to address that humanitarian crisis and trying to make sure that those children are taken care of and that we can reintegrate them back into the countries where they came from, because
do you think they should be returned?
They have to comply with the law.
Do you think they should be returned then at some point?
I think unless there are unless they can show that they are refugees from and in danger of immediate threat, that yes, they should be returned. But long term, we need to fix our immigration system.
She's wrong on immigration. She wants these kids to stay. She's in favor of the DREAM Act, in favor of amnesty. Remember, it's a live free or die state. They want independent leadership where someone is not going to continue to chip away and tear away at our rights and freedoms.
You say she wants them to stay.
She absolutely wants them to stay.
And what do you want?
I believe that they should be obviously cared for, secured, and they should be put back to their country of origin. We have a system, a mechanism, if people are being persecuted, that they can go through those channels. But here's where the problem was. When the president said, oh, by the way, taking these DREAM Act kids, putting them ahead of the millions of people who are following our laws and doing the right thing, and basically said to the rest of the world, don't worry, just get your kids here, and once they get here, they'll be okay. Sending that message out, she supported that effort.
Adults working full-time cannot support their families on the minimum wage, and that needs to change. The Fair Minimum Wage Act would increase the minimum wage to $10.10 over 2 years. That would provide a raise to nearly 20% of New Hampshire's workforce and lift 10,000 people in New Hampshire out of poverty.
We have the highest corporate tax rate in the industrialized world. We have Obamacare coming in and the business mandate after the election. You've got energy costs, which are going to be out of sight this year. You have the lack of regulatory and tax certainty, and then you have the state and local taxes and regulations. By the time it's all over, now you're going to throw in increased minimum wages. The business leaders need to be at the table before we make any of those decisions. I've supported in the past. Would I be open, providing those folks are at the table and we can all agree on what a fair rate is?
I mean, is 10-10 fair?
Once again, if we have everybody at the table and we can discuss it.
As a result of the Hobby Lobby case, some employers now have the ability to claim religious objections as a justification for not providing contraceptive care with no copays. Where a woman works should not determine whether she gets insurance coverage that has been guaranteed to her under federal law.
We never would have had the Hobby Lobby decision come forward if it wasn't for Obamacare. A mandate was being imposed on people of faith as a result of Obamacare. The Supreme Court issued a narrow decision. Hobby Lobby, as you know, is providing certain types of contraception. It's a question of who's going to pay for the remaining four. If the federal government's mandating it, then the federal government has to find a way to pay for it. As I've said, I support contraception. I believe women should have the ability to get whatever they want and do whatever they want with their bodies. So I don't think it plays much of a factor. I have a house full of women. One of my daughters just got married. I have another one getting married. I'm a pro-choice moderate Republican, so to think I don't care about women is obviously a lie. That being said, I think Obamacare actually hurts women.
Running in New Hampshire versus Massachusetts. You know, a couple of times people have hit you for saying Massachusetts instead of New Hampshire. Is it a problem running in New Hampshire instead of Massachusetts?
How they take and do things and twist things, I get it. It's politics. I'm a big boy. That being said, I have long and strong ties to our state, and people don't talk to me about where I'm from. They talk to me about where we're going. We have a $17+ trillion national debt. We have a dysfunctional Washington. Our foreign policy is a joke. Our economic policy is flat. Our energy policy is non-existent. We are in trouble right now, and people are upset. That's what's driving the race, the ability and the desire to take back our state, take back our country, take back the Senate, take all those bills on Harry Reid's desk, make him the minority leader, and put him on the president's desk and kind of right the ship a little bit.
Again, we asked Senator Shaheen to come on Special Report for this piece and others for months, and that invitation still